Well, good morning. I was driving and I thought about this, especially after so many phone calls that I received from across the country from various friends of mine that we talk about things of this magnitude. Most of them have been what I call emotionally attached. And I was wondering about you. Are you so emotionally attached to something that, in spite of all of the evidence, you can't let it go? I was thinking about it as it related to the collusion investigation that we all have been inundated with. Every time I've been in an airport, all the TVs in the airport, they're just kind of glaring with the same news all the time. Collusion, 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 that this particular president, Trump, has colluded with the Russians. And it's just kind of really been nonstop. And I was thinking about, even though the evidence obviously speaks very different to the reality of the TV media outlet, the reality of it is there's been no collusion. And I wonder how many of you are even getting this type of information. I was thinking about the numbers, and I'm just going to round up the numbers just to make the point. You're talking about over 500 subpoenas that were given to individuals, that apparently had colluded. You're talking about almost $30 million that were spent of our tax dollars, by the way, to prove that this president had colluded with Russia in order to win a presidency. And we're not even talking about over 500 witnesses that had to find legal help. And so many of these individuals have really gone bankrupt. They couldn't afford, just the exorbitant amount of money. And with all that, guess what? Literally zero collusions. No American has been found guilty of any kind of collusion. You're talking about over 2 years, all these lives that have been wasted because they couldn't afford it. And I was just wondering, what about you? Like if someone accused you of something and you had to take your life savings to try to fix it, but you can't fix it. And you're broke as a result. And there's no, I'm sorry, there's no, oops, we're going to give you back your money. It's just what it is. And yet, no apologies from the media. They have just wasted our lives trying to make us believe something that just did not even exist in the first place. And they won't even address the reality, and that is there's been no collusion. How many of us in America have bought this lie, even when I've been outside of the country? Again, these things are glaring on TV everywhere. Collusion, collusion, collusion. And there's been no collusion. This is what I want to challenge those of you that have what I call just been in a place to really make a difference. Maybe you should check the media that you've been watching. CNN, NBC, MSNBC. Just go back, whether it's Don Lemon, Rachel Maddow, all these individuals, this was their top thing. You could not literally put on the news without seeing this stupid stuff. And yet, so many of you I go back to the premise of what I was thinking. How many of you are so emotionally connected to these TV media outlets that you bought it? You bought the whole thing. I cannot tell you how many people that I've known that have called me saying, hey, look, oh, wow, what's going to happen when the president goes down for collusion? They believed all this stuff, that this president was, some kind of way a Russian spy. He was put in office by the Russians. And I thought, oh, my God, especially leaders, what are you saying to your congregation? Do you ignore it? Do you not get up and apologize to all of your congregants for following this stupid stuff? After all, for most part, you kind of led them by not even taking a position. So many of us have fallen victim to this. I just think that we can do a whole lot better. Maybe you should begin to consider the source. And I thought about this, and I won't make this very long, but, historically speaking, when someone doesn't want you to know facts or truth, they often would criticize the very outlets of which, people will get their information from, and they'll make them out to be like the boogerman of some sort. And here they are, the boogeyman, and you don't watch this particular station or that. I'm not advocating for any particular station, but I will say this, and I've done the research. There are several groups that have done the research. There's only one I take that back. There are two outlets that covered this thing fairly. And again, I'll tell you who they were not. I'll let you make your own determination, but I can tell you who they were not. CNN didn't do it. NBC didn't do it. MSNBC didn't do it. CBS didn't do it. ABC didn't do it. None of them, not one of them, really took a real journalistic position. They didn't give us the facts. They had a narrative. They wanted you to believe it. God, stop being so emotionally connected that you cannot disconnect from things. If you see something and you know something and it's obvious that it is something, don't pretend that it's nothing, at all. Anyway, I wanted to kind of share that with you just to kind of say, hey, come on, America. If they're trying to make you believe something and it's not, and they've been doing it for 2 years, and the government spent literally almost $30 million. Can you imagine what that could have done in some poor community? Oh my God. Over 500 subpoenas that have gone out, almost 3,000 subpoenas and several hundred witnesses, and zero. That's a big fat zero conclusion. It's really pathetic. I think we can do better. I think we should do better. I hope that you stop being so emotionally connected that you can't look at the reality and overcome it. Let's find out what's really going on. And let's find out, maybe they're really trying to get us not to pay attention to some other things here in America that we should be paying attention to. Listen, I hope you enjoyed just a little fact finding here. I got to pull off here and keep going and doing the things that I need to do. But until we come back together again, I bid you peace. God bless.